Welcome to the December edition of the Tempo Storm Shadowverse Meta Snapshot. This month sees Shadowverse settling into another new meta with the addition of the Celestial Dragonblade mini expansion. Fresh support for Dragon's discard archetype saw it rise to become a tier 1 deck overnight, with the entire meta shifting to accommodate. The previously solid Dirt Rune and Crystallize Haven also received a boost, obtaining key cards to improve their consistency. Puppet Portal and Quickblader Sword, while receiving negligible support from the mini expansion, remain as powerful as ever and have retained their spots at the top. However, some previous meta staples, such as Spell Boost, have fallen by the wayside, struggling too heavily against the discard threat. There is no longer any shortage of tier 1 decks to choose from, but the difference in strength between tier 1 and tier 2 has grown wider, and it remains to be seen whether the decks standing head and shoulders above all others will leave any room for counterpicks and dark horses. Let's take a look at what the mini expansion's meta has to offer. Having languished away for the past several expansions, the Celestial Dragonblade mini expansion has breathed new life into discard, so much so that you might mistake it for a whole new archetype. The keys to its success are Lumior, Prestigious Gold, and Argente, Purest Silver, who provide extremely powerful damage and ramp payoffs while drawing at the same time. They give discard all the consistency it could ever have wished for, and allow the deck to be extremely flexible with its game plan. Its strength is now meta-defining, and any deck that wants to do well must have a way to answer the extremely scary Noir and Blanc cards discard can now put out. Already a formidable deck, the mini expansion gifted Crystallize with Astolfo Lunar Paladin. This single card has given the deck more means to survive the early game, another cheap way to build up Crystallize effects, and additional draw to put together its combo pieces, all in one neat little package. Crystallize's potential swing turns and power plays have never been in question. The added consistency that Astolfo offers is really the best thing it could have gotten, so it's no surprise that it still sits comfortably in tier 1, stronger than ever. For more info on how to play Crystallize, check out the guide by our player Hishiro. Spell Boost Rune has fallen heavily out of favor since the mini expansion, in no small part due to its poor matchup against discard, but in its place Rune now has Dirt, which has greatly risen in consistency and strength with the help of Astrological Sorcerer. Just like Astolfo in Crystallize, Sorcerer provides the deck with many things at once: draw, stack count, stacks consumed, and the potential to stall a turn against storm finishers, meaning she shores up a lot of the deck's previous weaknesses all on her own. That said, she's perhaps a little late to the party, with the core of the deck rotating out in just a month. Those who want to give Dirt a try should do so now while they still have the chance. Puppet Portal continues to prove that it's here to stay, one way or another. The number of flex slots in the deck left it with ample room to pick up any shiny new toys the mini expansion could offer, and since it had so many impactful evolve effects already, Olivia and Sylvia Wardens fits right in. Puppet has replaced the few more niche cards in its repertoire with a more streamlined evolve package, using the likes of Bad Bakatha and Jetpack Gunner to take full advantage of the evolution point recovery. Olivia and Sylvia keep Puppet from running out of steam and make its absolute chastity turns more impactful than ever. Unlike our other featured decks, Quickblader didn't receive any noteworthy support in the mini expansion, which is just fine as it turns out, because the deck retains its dominant position, holding its own against the new threats of discard and Dirt without a problem. Its game plan has not changed. You can build up rally and chip damage with early aggression before finishing the opponent off with a buffed Swift Speed Quickblader, or take the time to put together an OTK if need be. More lists are now opting to include Gilnelise, as her drain makes a big difference in the discard, Dirt, and handless matchups. Check out the guide from our player Essia for a full overview on how to play Quickblader. The meta now hosts a multitude of top-tier decks to choose from, but Quickblader Sword remains our chief recommendation. It has changed little in the wake of the mini expansion, allowing players to save on vials, and its sheer strength and consistency makes it likely to stand the test of time. With favorable matchups almost all across the board, including against discard, there's there's really no better option to ladder with. That said, with discard itself receiving such a recent power spike, now is an excellent time to learn to play it, especially as it boasts a similarly great matchup spread that makes it near guaranteed to stick around for the future. Crystallize, likewise, will not see any important cards rotate out soon, so it's a safe enough bet. Dirt, it must be noted, will have a number of its core cards leave the format next month, after which the deck will either become something quite different or leave the format entirely. Depending on whether a player would really like to try it before that happens, it could be the least or most important to invest in. Since the nerf to Artifact Portal, the top of the Celestial Dragonblade metagame has been opened up to new contenders, and the mini expansion has pushed the trend further. With 5 very powerful decks now inhabiting Tier 1, we expect things to remain stable for the remainder of the expansion. It's possible there still exists a deck that can break through the stalemate by countering a number of them, but it's unlikely. Rather than volatile counter picks or sleeper hits, the rest of our time in Celestial Dragonblade will probably be focused on top decks going toe-to-toe, which will offer players some breathing room heading into the next expansion. This mini expansion provided a lot of support cards aimed at boosting the consistency of individual decks. We're hopeful that whatever is on the way continues on in that manner, as there are still several relatively fresh archetypes, such as Chess, that could use some more love. Forest has yet to be granted a deck with a real place in the meta, but as Discard Dragon has just proven, you never know when an archetype might experience a renaissance. In the meantime, for those looking to perfect their gameplay in a meta that's settling down, be sure to check out the Shadowverse section of our website regularly for guides written by our professional players. See you all in next month's edition of the Tempo Storm Shadowverse Meta Snapshot.